Also, you can't bully men into working at an oil rig. It just doesn't work like that.
That's the craziest idea I've ever heard, right?
But the thing is, if women can be providers, then what are men valued for? I'm going to say something that conservatives would probably hate. Well, hello there, welcome to my channel where we learn from the gays. I know conservative men will never listen to a gay man like me because they will think that that's gay. But there's only so much I can do, and also this is why I'm quite appreciative of Hassan, because they will listen to him without feeling like their fragile masculinity is at risk. To be fair, I am a gay man who was raised in a straight world, and believe it or not, my parents are straight.
Lunch with a view.
And I do have a couple of straight friends, so I do have some information on the straights, enough to be able to make a 10-minute video anyway. So recently I've been thinking of the different dynamics between, same-gender couples and straight couples. And it's quite interesting to see how the LGBTQ plus couples escape quite a lot from what is expected of men and women in society, because we don't respond to the way that society was built like. Basically what I'm trying to say is that, for example, in gay couples, society has never been able to dictate which one of the partners is supposed to do what. Which one's supposed to do the cooking, which one's supposed to provide, to take care of the kids. We don't even know which one's supposed to propose, and that's why we sometimes end up proposing to each other, because we want both of the partners to know what it feels like to be proposed to. So there's never been many arguments or discussions in the LGBTQ plus community about this. It doesn't make any sense. It's pretty much whoever wants to do it, they'll do it. And also whatever makes more sense for both of the partners. But also this could be easily applied to straight couples nowadays.
Dinner with a view.
I started thinking of this because of the recent trend on TikTok where basically men are against women. To put it in very simple terms, because I don't want to expand too much on this, basically it started with the soft girl era where women were basically saying, I'm the prize, men are supposed to provide for me, chase me, and I don't need to provide anything because they're just lucky to have me. And then the guys reacted with some sort of parody of the women's videos, flipping the table.
Why do women think they can go on a date with a man like me and not have to treat me for a couple $100? Do you really think my time and presence isn't worth a few $100s? Are you serious right now?
But this is besides the point. What I wanted to say is that this argument in between men and women basically comes from this deconstruction of the idea that men are the ones that are supposed to be the providers. Mostly since women have more rights and can work, can be bosses.
What are you, a dominatrix? No. I mean, for real.
Probably the work conditions can improve, that's for sure. But all in all, the reality is that women can decide whether they want to be providing for themselves or they want to depend on someone else economically. And I think we've kind of got used to that idea, mostly because, as we know, it's pretty much impossible for a single man's salary to be enough for a whole family nowadays.
And then we're talking about men providing, right? Men used to provide back in the 70s and 80s when you could purchase a house for $300. You can't even get a house in the projects for $300 these days. What the
So double income households are pretty much the only option, generally speaking. But the thing is, if women can be providers,
is there anything better than treating your baby?
and what are men valued for? I'm going to say something that conservatives would probably hate. What men are going through now is pretty similar to the crisis that men go through, or used to go through mostly, because when I realized that I was gay, I felt a bit like a failure because I would never be able to form that stereotypical family, man, woman, kids.
Get used to that jealousy, Lily. Ordinary people just don't understand us.
And I think nowadays men are struggling to meet a different type of societal standard. But I think this can be such a good thing for men's mental health. In fact, the previous super high expectations of men were the ones that were causing this super high rate within men. So once I realized that I was never gonna be straight and I was never gonna meet those standards, then I felt free. I could put my self-worth within me and not in society.
But not only do I look good, I feel good.
And that gives you a lot of freedom, but also society stops expecting those things from you. My family and friends were telling me, you're off the leash. So yes, it's just much more freedom. I'm basically singing we're breaking free to straight cis men. And I know that conservative men hate gay men because we say that we're still men even though we don't fit within their book of masculinity. But Andrew Tate is saying that wanting to sleep with women is gay, so please allow me to disregard everything that conservatives have to say about me. And also, I'm not saying that men should play for my team. I'm just saying that straight men should be free to do whatever they want to do and shouldn't be judged on that, as long as they're not hurting anyone, of course. You want to chop some wood? Valid. You want to work in an admin job? Valid. You want to be a stay-at-home dad? Valid. And I can hear alpha men saying, oh, but who's going to do the very hard work, the very physical hard work? I'll tell you who. The same men that are doing it now. Men who actually want to do it. We're just allowing men who don't want to do that to not feel bad about themselves for not doing it. This is not going to feminize men. I'm pretty sure a man who wants to do the job is going to do a better job than a man that's only doing it because he wants to feel a bit more like a man.
You strike me as the sort of person that had a hard time in high school.
Which is complete and utter BS. If you want to go to war, go. No one's stopping you. But I'm just saying that's not going to make you more of a man than a stay-at-home dad or any other man. Also, you can't bully men into working at an oil rig. It just doesn't work like that.
That's the craziest idea I've ever heard, right?
And by the way, I'm not saying that this stereotype of men is only promoted by silly men. Some women really don't help either. Like I recently watched this reel where there was a man redesigning a whole room to turn it into a really wonderful, beautiful office for his wife. And Tina here was saying she's so lucky she has a gay husband to do all this in one day.
What the fuck is your problem?
Tina, darling, this is why we can't have nice men. Let's put this in very simple math, okay? So you're saying that this man is gay because he's doing things in the house. In a derogatory way, of course, because there's nothing wrong with being gay. But to you it is. You're most likely meaning that this man is less of a man because he's doing something that's weaker than what men are supposed to do. And when you say weaker, you mean things that women are supposed to do. You're calling yourself weak, Tina. That is so lame that you don't realize that. I feel like this message of be whoever you want to be, accept yourself for what you are, gets told to women, gays, trans people, all the queer people, but never to straight cis men. So men, if you're watching this, please feel free to be whatever you want to be, do whatever you want to do, as long as you're not hurting anyone or putting anyone down. Don't expect Andrew Tate to say that you're a man. It'll never happen. It'll never give him engagements or likes or comments or whatever, and this man only does it for the clouds, and it's becoming more apparent every single day that goes by. So that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave it a comment telling me what you think about this, how you feel about the topic, if it affects you in any shape or form. Also leave it a like and subscribe as always, and I'll see you next time.